Hey guys, so today I'm going to be demonstrating 3 easy special effects cuts that you can do to freak out your family and friends or for Halloween since spooky season is upon us. So, alright, let's go ahead and dive on in. Alright, so the first cut that I'm going to do a simple slit wrist. And for this, you're just going to need some liquid latex and some tissue pulled apart and tore to the size that you want. I have 4 sheets here that we're going to work with. And then you need your red makeup, fake blood, and a little pair of scissors to cut, and foundation to cover, and setting powder. So we're going to go ahead and take our liquid latex here, dab a little bit on our sponge, and it's going to put it, in the area that we want to put our first piece of tissue on. And we're just going to put that down on the wrist. I'm trying to get this at a good angle so you can see what's going on. And we're going to put some more liquid latex on our sponge and put it over the top, smoothing the tissue down. So once we kind of try to see what I'm doing here and get it on camera, it's a weird angle, I'm not doing it on my face. So once you get the right amount on here, you're going to throw another piece of tissue on top of that. I don't know if I'm going to do 4 layers or just go with 2 or 3. I'm going to see here once I get the second layer on here. So I'm just going to smooth that down over top of that. So then you want to let that dry. And then I think I'm going to put 1 more layer on, and then we'll apply the foundation. So I'm going to go ahead and step away, use my blow dryer, and add the 3rd layer on, and I'll be back with foundation. All right, so we now have 3 layers of our tissue with the liquid latex. It's dry. I am now going to put foundation on it to match my skin tone and cover it up a little bit more to make it look flesh tone. So I got my foundation here, my little palette, and brush somewhere. So I'm just going to dip my brush into the foundation, and we're just going to put some on here and blend it in. I put a little bit too much on, but just blend it up. Not a big deal. And a little bit. So it kind of blends in and looks like your skin here. So next, I'm going to add a little bit of setting powder. Probably should mute the phone next time. And we're just going to put the setting powder on it to get rid of the tackiness. All right, so there we go. Next step down. So now, to make the slit, I'm going to take my little scissors here and very carefully, so I don't really cut myself, just going to cut down the center. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I am trying to pay attention to what I'm doing so I don't really cut myself. I'm accident prone, so this is very dangerous for me. Just gonna cut a little incision there. Oh, I went too far. All right, we can fix that. Not a big deal. So you're gonna wanna open it up Sorry, my hand's in the way there. All right, so we got it open. And I'm actually gonna cut a little bit of it away to give it a wider gash. And you can leave a piece hanging off too. Make it look like the skin's hanging if you want. Kind of want to look a little grotesque. So there we got our opening. Now the fun part. I'm going to take another brush here. We'll try that one. And my red eyeshadow that I got here. Get that on the brush. And we're just going to take it and we're going to put it all in the middle here. So fill that in. Kind of get underneath there. Some on top, around it. We're going to be adding fake blood too, so. All right, now I'm going to take my eyeshadow palette here that I got, all my colors that I like to use. And I'm just going to probably use my finger. We'll use this brush. Take my brush here and I'm just going to put a little bit of brown on my brush. And just kind of dip it around the edges here. Give it a little bit of bruising. A little discoloration. Do a little bit of purples. Kind of around the wound. And then some red. More red. So, getting there. And the last step here is taking some of our scab blood, benign scab blood. Love the stuff. Just gonna take some here like that. And we're just going to smooth it on like jam inside the cut. Push open the skin a little bit there. Get it all up in there. Okay. Dab it around. You can also put some liquid blood on around it, spackle it, whatever. Put it on there. And also, if you wanted to, you could put it on the wound and make it run down the hand or down the other way. But there's your basic slit wrist. The next one I'm going to do, I'm going to use scar wax and do a cut on my hand. So be right back. All right, so now we're going to do some scar wax on our hand to make a little open wound on her palm here. I got some spirit gum here, try to help keep the scar wax on. It's my first time using the spirit gum, so we'll see how this goes. So I'm just going to put it where I'm going to be laying out my scar wax for the wound. I think that's a good area. So we're going to let it dry just a little bit so it gets tacky, and then we're going to apply the scar wax down. So give that a couple seconds. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna I already rolled out the scar wax to the size I want. And I'm gonna put another bit down there. Make sure I get Vaseline on my fingers and on my little tool here. We're going to use to smooth the scar wax down. So just going to smooth down the edges and try to make it blend in with the skin and take it off. That worked. It's all right. Just put that back on there like that. Kind of smooth it down. I'll worry about the inside here in a moment. And if needed, you can add foundation to the scar wax after you're done to blend it in with the skin, but I don't think I'm going to need to do that with this. So I'm just going to smooth that down. Not too much, but because I'm going to cut in the middle. All right. Trying to get these edges smooth as possible. Fill that hole in there. All right, so now what we're gonna do, put a little bit more Vaseline on the sharper end here. Be extremely careful, and we're just gonna go in the middle and make an incision. So just gonna push, go in the middle and push out a little bit. Open it up. Get a nice little gaping wound there, like so. That I'm not too concerned about being perfect because it's a cut. So it's gonna smooth this out a little bit more here. I like the size of our cut, so we're gonna rock with that. So there's our wound here. Now we're done with that. I am going to add a little bit of setting powder around it. I don't think I'm going to mess with the foundation with this one, but I'm just going to add to get rid of the shininess and the tackiness of the scar wax. That was a lot of powder, and it is everywhere now. And you can also use your finger to smooth in too if needed. So there we go. I am that white, so it works. All right, so again, I'm gonna take my red eyeshadow that I had in the last video. Not sure what I did with my brush. Ah, there we are. Okay, so we're gonna do that again. Scrape some of that off, and we're just gonna fill in the wound. You can use paint too, body paint, red body paint, but this stuff seems to work pretty good for me, and I like it. I use it on every one of my videos just about. Until it runs out, this is what I use. All right, put a little bit more in there. Put it along the edges. Okay, I do want to add a little bit of discoloration around the wound. Trying so hard not to move my hand too much. One-handed right now. All right, so just gonna do my browns. That's a little too much, but we can fix that, and just kind of dab it on. You don't want to push too hard because you're going to mess with the scar wax. Okay. A little bit of purple along there. And some red. Got a little bruising effect. What I am going to do now is I'm going to take some of my black eyeshadow here and I'm just going to put it along the edges of the wound to give it a little bit of a darker look. So there you go. And now, my favorite part, the scab blood. Where's my tool? Okay, found it. So we're just gonna scrape some of that off, and I still have scar wax on there, but it's okay. And that was probably way too much, but we're gonna just slide that on in there like that. Be very ginger with it. Okay. So once you got, be very gentle. As much blood as you want in it. Depends on how gory you want it. Just kind of put some blood around it. And scrape off the excess here because we don't want to waste that. That's good stuff right there. All right, there's your basic, simple cut on hand. Next, I'll be doing a basic cut on my face. So I'll be back. All right, so the last cut I'm going to do is a little cut on my cheek here. I am going to use scar wax for that one as well. I've already got my little piece rolled up here. I'm going to put a little bit of my spirit gum on here where I want the cut to be. I'm just going to grab my mirror to do this. And I'm just going to put it right there. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, and then we'll be back to add the scar wax. All right, so we got it to where we want it, and I rolled up my scar wax here, so I'm just gonna stick it over the adhesive we did with our hand, and I forgot to put Vaseline on my finger, so hopefully, all right, sweet. Yay! All right, so I'm just gonna take my tool that I use for my scab blood. Oops. Let me just wipe this off real quick. Put a little bit of Vaseline on that bad boy. And we're just gonna smooth it in. Again, we'll be putting foundation over this to blend in with my face. And I'll leave a little bit of a hump in the middle. I don't want to smooth that down too much because I want to be able to cut an incision. All right, we can also smooth a little bit more too. All right. I'm actually going to use my finger a little bit and just smooth that down. All right, once you're happy with that, I think I will go ahead and put a little bit of foundation over it, and then I'll make my incision. Gonna go over it. That might have been a lot of foundation I just put on. I'm gonna be adding setting powder too, so blend that in everywhere. We're going to be adding bruising and blood too, so it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Okay, so there is that. I'm going to add a little bit of setting powder. Dab that on there. A little less tacky. All right. Now, take our little thing here. Hair out of that. I'm just going to go down the middle, making our incision. Trying to be very careful not to pull too hard. Open it up a little bit. All right, so we got our cut there. Kind of. Try to get that a little deeper. I'll put a little bit more Vaseline on the tip of this. So no stickage. Everything's sticking to my hand though. Okay. There we go. I like that a little better. So there we go. We got our cut now. So now we're going to take our red eyeshadow. I'm going to put it on a smaller brush here. Just go in the middle, like all the other times before. Fill that in. Looking nice. Just dab a little bit on the outside there. And now we're going to add a little bit of a bruising effect. And I'm just going to use my finger here. So professional about it. Oh, that's all right. Want the red in there. Just going to put that around. All purple. All beat up. And a little bit of the red. Kind of. I think that looks good. Ooh. I need more hands. Should I use this brush for the scab blood? See what happens here. And we're just going to stick that all up in it. Make it look like a gory mess. One hell of a cut. Puppy's got a little crazy. Heard a noise outside. All right, so we're just about done with that. If you want to add a little bit of blood on the outside, you can do so. But there you have it. There is your basic cut scar wax. Pretty simple. I think it'll freak people out, make for a nice Halloween costume. You can see where it's protruding from the face. Ugh. Smash that down. I spread a little bit of blood there. Did not mean to do that. It works. All right, guys, so there you have it. 3 basic wounds, simple, doesn't cost a lot. Anyone can do it. There you go. So have fun this Halloween or playing a prank on somebody. something I would do. Till next time, have a great night.